Dear fans, we have another legendary trainer, Arnold Snort. He was close to Ali, he trained Tyson, Frankie Randall, you name it. He is the man. Welcome to our show, Desde Aquí para Allá.
Well, thank you, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you, number one. And your show is always great, man. You always have great people on there. People learn a lot on your show. They learn about boxing. You know, it's great to have me on the show because it's a blessing to see you again. That's why it's great for me, man. Thank you.
We here at the weekend, the week of the Boxing Hall of Fame. Take notes and walk through what this event means to you and for the new generation.
Well, what this means, you know, history and culture of all our studies are best attractive, best qualified to reward a person's research, as it takes upon the springs and motives that spell the destiny of the human being. Okay, when, you know, guys that like Don King, who I had the pleasure to work with for over 35 years, a promoter, he's in there. Muhammad Ali's in there. How I got started as a young man being around Muhammad Ali, going on to being a youngest trainer in boxing history to train a heavyweight champion, Tim Witherspoon, and then going on to train the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson, and then training Julian Jackson, who's in the Hall of Fame here, what is in the 100 list of the hardest punchers in boxing. And for him to be a part of that, and me to be a part of that when I trained him, you know, and the list goes on and on. Hector Macho Camacho, I trained him for years, and he's in this Hall of Fame. The list is long, fine, but distinguished. But the history of boxing needs to be kept, and to be here at the International Boxing Hall of Fame, that's what it's all about. It's about preserving history, those who played the part in the role in boxing during their time in boxing. That's what the International Boxing Hall of Fame is all about. One thing, boxing will take you around the world. I mean, you know, Don King was a promoter for the people and by the people. His magic lies with his people ties, and he tied in with people all around the world. So we did events around the world. You're talking about Africa, Australia, England, France, Spain, South America, Canada. You know, all around the world, Don King promoted large fights, and I just happened to be a part of that greatness by the fighters that I trained that fought on those cards that Don promoted around the world. So to be at an International Boxing Hall of Fame is fitting. You know, when you run into news reporters from, you know, the Caribbean, Puerto Rico, you know, Jamaica, Trinidad, you know, St. Thomas, Virgin Islands, you know, St. John, St. Croix, you know, all of those islands in the Caribbean. Man, oh man, it shows you that it's really international when you come here to see all of these guys walking around that are international media.
Changing the topic a little bit, but still in boxing. Mm-hmm. Non-boxing fans always say, oh, boxing is dying until the next big fight. And that is the fact that they say, oh, boxing this, boxing that, until the next big fight comes. You as a legendary trainer, what the things that you see is missing now with the new fighters and the new trainers?
Well, you know, boxing is never going to die. You know, boxing is alive. Boxing happens every day around the world. It's just the common fan is not aware of all the fights that take place around the world and how often it takes place until a big fight comes. And when the big fight comes and it's notable, then people say, oh, where have we been? Boxing wasn't nothing, but now we have these two big guys, and then they come interested in it for the big ones. But if it wasn't for the little ones, the big ones would never happen.
The question is, you are considered to be a boxing historian.
Right.
You as the Boxing Hall of Fame in Atlantic City, in New York, here in Canastota. Tell us about the things that you're doing lately for boxing and part of your program and your vision?
Well, you know, I have the Jack Johnson exhibit. And who Jack Johnson was, he was the first African-American heavyweight champion of the world. We have this exhibit, we have artifacts, and we take it around and show people the contribution Jack Johnson, the first heavyweight champion of the world, made for boxing in breaking the color line. Muhammad Ali was the one who taught me about Jack Johnson when I was young. And so I had the opportunity in Franklinton, North Carolina, where Jack Johnson died and where I live now, is to bring about all of this because his car was left there and artifacts. So we got a lot of those artifacts and stuff like that to make the young people aware who he was. And just last weekend in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, what we did was we unveiled the historical marker for Muhammad Ali's training camp. That training camp in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania is where Ali won most of all of his big fights, from the Thriller in Manila, the Rumble in the Jungle, his comeback fight with Leon Spinks to make him the first three-time heavyweight champion. So we got that preserved. There's a marker there on the camp in the state. So children can come there, look back in time. Mike Madden, who's John Madden, you know, the football coach, the TV anchor, his son purchased the camp. He restored it in its original form, and now people can go there, look at the history of Muhammad Ali, see videos, how he stood up and fought for human rights, civil rights, and his own personal rights. That's amazing to have something preserved where you can come and really witness where he laid his head, how he slept, how he ran, how he ate. In the boxing ring that he trained in every day was where he took political stands. He took civil rights stands. And also he talked about how he was going to whip guys like Joe Frazier, George Foreman. It's a monumental place, and I recommend, if you have the time, to go visit that. And also, come ask us. We come to schools, recreation centers with the exhibit to teach children. That's what it's all about.
Okay, I cannot end this interview without asking you 3 fights. I would like to have your take on this. I'm going to ask you in this order, and you can answer whichever order you feel more comfortable. Canelo Benavides, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, and the most recent, anticipated now, Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. What's your take in those fights?
Well, all of them, first of all, are dynamite fighters. And those fighters that take the risks will achieve greatly. Those who never take risks, you will never achieve greatly unless you take risks. And that's why fighting somebody that other people know that can fight, that are on your level, number one. Tank Davis, I mean, the young man is proven a dynamite puncher. He's patient, he's clever, he finds a way, he figures a guy out as the rounds go by to open him up where he can hit him with counter punches, what most young guys nowadays don't do, counter shots. He opens guys up to hit them with one clear shot. He's a one-punch KO artist like Julian Jackson. That's what we used to teach Julian Jackson, like when he fought Terry Norris. The counter puncher, wait till a guy throws his hands, and when he's wide open, where you can whack him like on the chin, on top of the forehead, or on back of the head. And this is what Gervonta Davis is doing. Now Shakur Stevenson, this young man, let me tell you what, he's something to watch out. Don't let the smile fool you, as I say, from Shakur Stevenson, because he's always smiling. Shakur Stevenson can box. And a good boxer is going to know where sluggers are at because they're going to make the position to put sluggers where they want them at. But not only can he box, he can punch. And his punching power is underestimated. And he's being seasoned. He got a lot of fights, you know, and he's going to be something to reckon with. Now, Crawford and Earl Spence. It's a long-awaited fight that everybody's been waiting for. You know, with Crawford, a tough southpaw that can fight and box and slick, or tough to handle like Marvin Hagler. You know, with that fight, I'm going with Crawford. I think Crawford has the experience, number one, that southpaw style. I know, you know, both of them, you know, the southpaw, but Terrence Crawford just has that little bit of edge, and that's what you need in a big fight. I think he has the edge to get the job done. Canelo Alvarez, well, he found out that to stay great is that you got to keep working hard. You can't never take nothing for granted. Your name that you build up can take you so far. You have to train just like when you were a younger fighter, eager to get to the top. Now that you're on the top, everybody's pulling at you. And people tell you things to easing you up. Oh, you don't have to train that hard. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. You're Canelo Alvarez. You can beat all them guys. No. Hard work and dedication is what makes it happen. That's what makes you great. And if he gets that hunger back in him, that drive. Look, man, everybody knows, man, when you got $100 million, it's rough to go wake up in the morning, pound their legs, be hurting the bottom of your feet, do them sit-ups, work on the fundamental drills or technique, because it hurts. It's painful. Until you get over the hump, you get in. What he has to get back in. His last fight, he showed that he soul-searched a little bit. Let's see if he can keep on soul-searching to stay on top of that mountain. Because there's always people pulling at you.
For us, it's an honor and a privilege to have this conversation with you, Mr. Aaron. And I'm glad that you give us the respect that the program deserves. This is your house. Anytime, anywhere, you can express not only your wisdom about boxing, but also the things that you're doing for the community and for the fighter family. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Desde aquí para allá, if you want to add anything, welcome.
Un Dios. God bless everybody. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Desde aquí para allá.
All right. My name is Russell Harris, out here at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Thinking about the Spence-Crawford fight. Definitely a 50-50 fight. I think I'm going to go with Crawford. I just think Crawford may have a little more in his tool bag. So if his plan A doesn't work, I think he can make adjustments faster and have more adjustments and make the Spence. Not to say Spence can't make adjustments, but I like Crawford to win this fight.
Ok, aquí estamos con otro entrenador de boxeo, otro conocedor. Le vamos a preguntar cuál es su opinión de esta gran pelea entre Terrence Crawford y Errol Spence.
Bueno, buenas tardes para todos aquellos amantes de boxeo. En sí, mi opinión, si Spencer hace su boxeo, debe ganarle a Crawford. Es más inteligente, más sabio, pero menos pegador. Y Crawford porque es pegador, pero Spencer es más sabio en el ring. Para mí debería ganar Spencer. Gracias.